Hey everyone, ready to dive into something pretty fascinating. I mean, who doesn't love a good dream, right?
Definitely. I think we all visit that world each night, even if we don't always remember where we've been.
Exactly. And today we're going to be exploring not just what dreams are, but how different cultures view them and even how they can like spark our creativity.
Absolutely. And maybe even reveal a bit about ourselves along the way.
Right. And what's really cool is this all started with some IELTS test prep materials.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it.
Mm.
But trust me, this goes way beyond just prepping for an exam.
Oh, for sure. Like, honestly, who isn't curious about dreams?
Right.
And one of the sources we looked at even had this incredible story about someone dreaming they met David Attenborough.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? Like, talk about an unforgettable jungle expedition.
That's a perfect example of how those emotionally intense dreams really stick with us. Have you ever woken up from a dream and it felt like you actually lived it?
Oh, totally. It's like those anxiety dreams about showing up for a test and you haven't studied at all. Oh, tell me about it. Like, I've had that one more times than I can count.
Ugh, it's the worst. But why is it that some dreams are so vivid and we remember those, but others just disappear?
Well, during REM sleep, that's the stage when we do most of our dreaming. Our brains are kind of like filing cabinets sorting through all the stuff from the day.
Okay, so it's like organizing the mental clutter.
Exactly. And the things that really stand out, the ones that trigger strong emotions, those are the ones that get flagged as important.
Makes sense. So like if I have a dream about winning the lottery, I'm probably going to remember that one.
Exactly. Those are the ones that get stored in long-term memory.
Interesting. So all those crazy, heart-pounding, hilarious dreams,
Mhm.
those are the ones our brains decide are worth keeping around.
Exactly. And, from like an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about our ancestors, right? Their survival depended on remembering threats and important resources.
Okay, yeah.
So having a super vivid, emotionally charged dream about a close call with a predator.
Way more valuable to remember than, say, a dream about picking berries.
Right, so those intense dreams might have actually helped us survive as a species. That's wild.
It is fascinating, right?
Totally. But what about those times when you wake up and the dream is just gone? Like, poof. It's like our brains hit the delete button.
It really is.
Right.
And part of it is simply that when we wake up, our focus shifts to, all the demands of the day.
Like checking emails, making breakfast, getting the kids ready for school, all that stuff.
Exactly. All those waking thoughts take over, and those dream images just fade into the background.
So it's like, okay, dream time's over, back to reality.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what about the whole idea of whether dreams actually have like meaning? Are they just random or is there something more to them?
Oh, that's a question that's been around forever.
It just feels like it.
And it's really interesting how different cultures approach this whole question.
Like, for example.
Well, in a lot of Western societies, people tend to view dreams as just random brain activity, like a byproduct of our brains sorting through memories and emotions.
Okay, I can see that.
But then you have other cultures, like some Native American traditions where dreams are seen as super significant.
Oh, right. Like they might carry messages from the spirit world or offer glimpses into the future.
Exactly. And it's amazing how those beliefs then shape how people interpret their dreams.
So someone who believes their dreams are messages from their ancestors will interpret them totally differently from someone who sees them as just random.
Exactly. It just highlights how much our cultural beliefs can shape our understanding of the dream world.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, if you approach dreams with the idea that they do have meaning, are you then more likely to find meaning in them even if it's not really there?
That's a great point. Like if you're looking for a pattern, you're more likely to see it even if it's not really there.
Exactly. So how do we even begin to like unravel the meaning of our dreams? Is it like solving a puzzle where each symbol has a different clue?
That's a great way to think about it. Dream interpretation is a lot like deciphering a code. But there's no like one-size-fits-all dream dictionary because symbols can mean totally different things to different people.
Oh yeah, like how dreaming about flying might represent freedom for one person, but a fear of heights for another.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
Mm.
It's not about finding like a definitive meaning for every symbol, but more about what those symbols mean to you.
So like what emotions do they bring up? How do they connect to your waking life?
Exactly. It's a process of self-discovery, really.
Okay, so less about concrete answers, more about asking, what is this dream trying to tell me?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. One of the sources we looked at mentioned this really vivid dream about meeting David Attenborough and exploring a jungle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. The person described it as incredibly real and inspiring.
It really struck me how dreams can tap into our deepest passions and aspirations.
For sure.
Like maybe this person has always been fascinated by nature and conservation, and their subconscious was kind of urging them to pursue those interests.
I love that interpretation.
Hmm.
It speaks to the idea that dreams can be a real source of inspiration and motivation.
Totally. Like a pep talk from your inner self.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about how dreams can reflect our emotions, but how about their connection to creativity?
Oh, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, when we're dreaming, our minds are free from all that logic and reason.
Yeah, it's like our brains are on vacation, free to wander and make all sorts of crazy connections.
Exactly. And that's where the magic happens.
And the magic.
Yeah. All those unexpected connections, those bizarre juxtapositions, they can lead to some serious breakthroughs in thinking.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's like unlocking these new creative avenues that you might never have found otherwise.
That makes sense. And there are tons of stories about artists and musicians and even scientists who say they got their biggest breakthroughs from their dreams.
Exactly. Like Salvador Dali, he was obsessed with dreams, and you could totally see it in his art.
Yeah, totally. So basically, our dreams are like these little idea generators working in the background while we sleep.
You got it. And sometimes those totally out there dream thoughts can lead to some pretty unexpected solutions in our waking lives.
Okay, so it's like our conscious mind is trying to solve a problem in a very straightforward way.
Right.
But then our dreaming mind is like, hold my beer, watch this, and comes up with something totally different.
Exactly. It's like your conscious mind is a sculptor carefully chiseling away at a block of marble.
Okay.
But your dreaming mind is a painter just splashing colors on a canvas and creating something wild and unexpected.
Ooh, I love that analogy. It really captures the difference between how our minds work when we're awake versus when we're dreaming.
Right. It's pretty cool.
It is. So
Yeah.
if we want to tap into that creative potential, is there anything we can do to make our dreams more vivid or to help us remember them better?
Absolutely. One of the simplest things you can do is keep a dream journal.
Okay, I've heard of that, but I have to admit I've tried it and I'm terrible at it.
Really. What happens?
I wake up and remember the dream perfectly, but then by the time I get to my notebook, it's gone, like vanished into thin air.
Yeah, I get that. It can be so frustrating. It's like trying to catch smoke.
Exactly.
But here's a tip. Don't worry about writing full sentences or even making it grammatically correct.
Oh, really?
Just get down the key images, the emotions, any words that come to mind.
So just jot down whatever I can remember.
Exactly. Even those little snippets can be enough to unlock more of the dream memory later on.
Huh, okay, interesting. It's like those little breadcrumbs in the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel.
Exactly. You just got to follow the trail.
So it's more about capturing the essence of the dream than trying to write a whole novel about it.
Exactly. And the more you practice this, the easier it gets.
Really? Like
Yeah.
it's a skill you can develop.
Absolutely. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Okay, you've convinced me dream journaling is going back on my to-do list. But let's talk about lucid dreaming for a minute.
Oh, yeah. The whole idea of knowing you're dreaming while you're still in the dream.
Exactly. It's always fascinated me, but it seems like one of those like mythical abilities. Is it even real?
Oh, it's definitely real.
Yeah.
And while it might sound kind of sci-fi, it's actually been studied and documented for centuries.
So it's not just a bunch of new age hype.
Nope, not at all. There's a growing body of research that says lucid dreaming is a real state of consciousness.
Okay, so it's legit.
It is. And even though not everyone experiences it naturally, there are techniques you can use to make it more likely to happen.
Oh, okay. Now you've got my attention. What kind of techniques are we talking about?
Well, one common one is called reality testing.
Reality testing. What's that?
It's basically getting into the habit of checking throughout the day whether you're awake or dreaming.
So like pinching yourself, see if you're dreaming.
That's one way,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also be more subtle.
Like how?
Like you might look for things in your surroundings that wouldn't make sense in real life.
Okay, see?
Like, is the clock melting? Is your reflection in the mirror acting weird? Things like that.
Huh.
The idea is to train your mind to question the nature of reality, both when you're awake and when you're dreaming.
So it's like planting a seed of doubt in your mind.
Exactly. And if you practice these reality checks throughout the day, you're more likely to have that awareness carry over into your dreams.
So it's not about forcing yourself to have a lucid dream, but creating the right conditions for it to happen.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really cool. But what's the point? Is it just for fun, or is there more to it than that?
Well, it can definitely be a lot of fun. Imagine being able to fly or explore fantastical worlds or even have conversations with your favorite fictional character.
Okay, that does sound pretty amazing.
Right. But beyond the entertainment factor, Lucid dreaming can also be a really powerful tool for personal growth.
Oh, how so?
Well, in a lucid dream, you're not just watching your dream unfold. You're actively participating in it.
Okay.
And because that dream world is a reflection of your subconscious mind, it can give you incredible insights into your deepest fears and desires.
Whoa, so it's like having a direct line to your inner self.
Exactly. And because you're in a safe environment, you can experiment with different behaviors and reactions without any real-world consequences.
So it's like a virtual reality simulator for your
You
mind.
got it. It's a
Oh,
powerful way to gain self-awareness and explore different aspects of your personality.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned that some people experience lucid dreaming naturally while others have to work at it. Is there anything that makes someone more predisposed to it?
That's a great question. And honestly, researchers are still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be a specific lucid dreaming gene, but certain personality traits might play a role.
Like what?
Like if you're someone who's naturally introspective or has a really active imagination, you might have a bit of an advantage.
So if you spend a lot of time daydreaming, you might be a natural lucid dreamer.
It's definitely possible.
Mm.
But even if you've never had a lucid dream before, there are things you can try to cultivate that ability.
Okay, fascinating. I'm definitely going to have to look into this more. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about the more practical side of dreams. How do they actually fit into our everyday lives? It's easy to just dismiss them as these fleeting experiences, but I feel like there's got to be more to it than that.
You're absolutely right. Dreams might seem fleeting, but they can have a big impact on our waking lives.
Oh, in what way?
Well, for one, they can help us process emotions and experiences that we might not be fully dealing with when we're awake.
So like a sort of emotional outlet.
Exactly. It's like a
Okay.
pressure valve, letting us work through unresolved conflicts or anxieties, or even past traumas, but in a safe, symbolic space.
Okay, so like if I keep having a dream about being chased by a monster,
Hmm.
that could be a sign that I'm feeling anxious about something in my waking life, even if I haven't consciously admitted it to myself.
Exactly. Our dreams can give us clues about our emotional state, even if we don't always understand the message right away.
It's like our subconscious is trying to send us a message through these weird, symbolic stories. It's like those little warning lights on your car's dashboard telling you something needs attention.
Perfect analogy.
Hmm.
And by paying attention to those warning lights, we can understand our own mental and emotional health better and then, take steps to address any underlying issues.
Okay, so it's not just about analyzing our dreams for fun.
All right.
It's about using them as a tool for self-awareness and personal growth.
You got it. Dreams can be a powerful ally in our journey of self-discovery, giving us insights that our conscious minds might miss.
I love that. But can dreams ever be harmful? I mean, we've all had those nightmares that leave us feeling totally freaked out even after we wake up.
That's a really important question.
Hmm.
And yeah, while most dreams are harmless and just a reflection of what's going on in our minds, there are definitely some types of dreams that can be really distressing.
Like nightmares.
Exactly. Nightmares are a prime example.
Ugh. I used
Yeah.
to have them all the time as a kid, waking up in a cold sweat, heart pounding, feeling like the nightmare was still in the room.
It's a horrible feeling.
The worst.
And for some people, recurring nightmares can really mess with their sleep and their overall well-being.
So it's not just about how scary the dream is, it's about how it affects you afterwards.
Exactly. But the good news is there are actually a lot of effective therapies for dealing with nightmares.
Oh, really? Like what?
One common approach is called imagery rehearsal therapy.
Imagery rehearsal therapy. What's that?
It basically involves rewriting the nightmare, giving it a more positive ending.
Oh, interesting. So, like, if I'm having a nightmare about being chased by a monster,
Uh-huh.
I might imagine myself turning around and facing the monster or finding a way to outsmart it.
Exactly. And by practicing this new positive scenario over and over, you can gradually change how the nightmare makes you feel and even how often you have it.
So, we're not just stuck with our nightmares, we can actually change them.
We can. We often forget how much power we have over our own dream world. But the truth is, we can learn to navigate those landscapes with more awareness and even influence what happens in them.
Wow, that's incredible. This whole conversation has been mind-blowing. We've talked about everything from the science of dreams to cultural interpretations to the creative spark to therapeutic applications and even lucid dreaming. It's amazing how much there is to learn about this thing that we all do every night.
It really is.
But I have to ask, after all this, what do you think is the ultimate purpose of dreaming? Why do we do it?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Mm.
And if only we had a simple answer. Unfortunately, there's no one definitive explanation for why we dream.
Oh, man.
It's a question that's been puzzling scientists and philosophers for ages. There are lots of theories out there, but no real concrete answers.
So we're still searching for the meaning of dreams.
In a way, yes.
Huh.
But even without a clear answer, we can still appreciate the impact dreams have on our lives.
I do.
They give us a glimpse into our inner world, spark our creativity, challenge us to think differently. It's a reminder that there's still so much we don't know about our own minds.
It's like these mysterious gifts from our subconscious. But before we get too philosophical, I have one last question that's been bugging me.
Okay, shoot.
If we could control our dreams, what would we dream about?
That's a great question. It's like asking, if you had unlimited possibilities, what would you choose? What about you? What would your ideal dream look like?
It's funny you should ask that because I think my ideal dream would be something kind of similar.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not so much exploring new worlds, literally, but more like diving deep into knowledge. Like imagine a dream library where you could instantly absorb information on anything.
Whoa, that's incredible. It's like having the whole internet downloaded right into your brain.
Exactly. But instead of just reading words, you're having these immersive experiences that make the information come alive.
So it's like turning learning into an adventure.
Exactly. Every new bit of knowledge would open a new door to a deeper understanding.
I love that. It makes me wonder, we always talk about dreams as escapes from reality.
Yeah.
But what if they're actually a different kind of reality? Ooh, that's interesting. One where we can really push the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Exactly. It's like we wear different hats throughout the day depending on what we're doing, right?
Right?
So maybe our dreaming hat allows us to tap into a whole other side of ourselves.
I love that analogy. It really shows how complex we are as humans.
And it makes you wonder if we paid more attention to our dreams, maybe we'd discover hidden talents or interests we never even knew we had.
It's true. Like those stories about people waking up from a dream, suddenly able to speak a new language.
Yeah. Or play an instrument they've never even touched before.
Right, it sounds crazy, but who knows, maybe there's something to it.
It's like our dreams are showing us all this untapped potential we have.
Exactly. And I think the takeaway here is, even if we can't totally control our dreams, like we control our actions,
Yeah.
we can be more curious about them, more open to what they might be trying to tell us.
So instead of trying to make our dreams fit a certain mold, we should just approach them with a sense of wonder.
Exactly. Embrace the mystery and realize that even the weirdest dream might have something important to tell us.
It's like those optical illusions where you have to shift your perspective to see the hidden image.
Perfect analogy. And that's what makes dreams so fascinating. There's always more to learn and explore.
Well, after this deep dive, I know I'm going to be looking at my dreams in a whole new way. We've covered so much today, from the science of sleep to cultural interpretations to the creative spark and even the therapeutic side of things.
It's been a really fascinating journey, hasn't it?
It has, and I hope everyone listening is feeling a little more curious about the world of dreams.
Me too.
And remember, next time you wake up from a dream, don't just roll over and forget about it.
Yeah, take a moment to think about it. What images do you remember? How did it make you feel?
You might be surprised at what you discover.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to start that dream journal or try something new or even give lucid dreaming a shot.
That's right. Sweet dreams, everyone.